Hi, welcome to Veggie 360, where you're going to learn how to grow great tasting veggies year-round in small spaces. Today we're going to talk about how to plant garlic. Garlic is actually one of the easiest veggies that you can grow. You just plant it in the fall, you harvest it in June or July, depending on where you live and what the weather has been like that year. Very little maintenance involved, and it doesn't take up much space in the garden. You can actually plant a lot of garlic in a very small amount of space. And the taste, it can't compare with what you get at the grocery store. There's so many varieties to choose from. You basically pick what flavor profile you're going after, whether you want something that's a very mild, low heat intensity, or if you want something that really packs a punch, a very strong, intensely flavored garlic. You decide what you would like. Before we get started planting, I'd like to explain about the two main types of garlic, the soft neck and the hard neck varieties. The soft neck has a very pliable, soft stem at maturity. This is the kind that can be braided. You can see these at the farmer's market in the long braids. There's no scape or flower stalk, and it's best for growing in milder climates because it tends to be less cold tolerant. There's also more cloves per bulb, but the bulbs are smaller. It has a longer storage time, greater than 6 months, depending on your storage conditions. The other type is the hardneck variety, also known as stiffneck. The stalk is very stiff, woody as it matures. It does have a scape, which, by the way, you can cut that off and eat it. It has a very mild garlic flavor. It's wonderful in stir fries and omelets. It's best for colder climates because it's very, very cold tolerant. There's fewer cloves, but these cloves are bigger and they tend to be easier to peel, but it doesn't store quite as long. Now this is some of the garlic that I had left over from what I had planted last fall. We harvested this in June of this year. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick the largest bulbs. This is the hard neck variety, and then this is the soft neck, what's left of the braided bulbs. Not very good braiding. I'm kind of a rookie still. So this is the largest of the soft neck. And what I'm going to do is to separate this into individual bulbs, taking off this outer portion very carefully because you don't want to bruise the bulbs. And what I'm going to do is pick the largest of the bulbs, the largest of the cloves, it's a lot harder than I thought it was. So break it into individual cloves, and then for the hard neck, there's actually a very woody stem that runs right up the middle of the hard neck garlic. The hard neck typically is harder to separate out into the individual cloves. Wow, this is really tough. Okay, so you can see the woody stem that runs through the middle. And look how much larger the hard neck cloves are than the soft neck. So I'm going to break these into the individual ones. And what I'm going to do is to get the largest of the cloves and use these for planting. The smaller cloves, we're going to make some spaghetti. Okay, so these are the hard neck ones. I'm going to go ahead and plant these in the garden bed itself. I'm going to be planting the soft neck outside of the garden bed because, believe it or not, deer are supposed to not like garlic. I'm limited on the space that I have inside the fenced garden, so the sacrificial garlic will be the soft neck garlic because sometimes the deer do come by and graze the garlic. So here's the hard neck. I'm going to select the largest 9 cloves because we do 9 cloves per square foot. So now we're out in the garden ready to plant the garlic. Typically, garlic is planted 4 to 6 weeks before the ground freezes, which is usually mid-September to mid-November, depending on where you live and what the weather has been like that year. You want the garlic clove to have enough time to establish the roots, but not too much time. You don't want it to send up a green shoot, which is just going to freeze in the winter. Now I'm ready to plant the garlic. Because I'm using intensive spacing, I simply mark off 1 square foot, which I then subdivide into 9 equal portions, because I'm going to be planting 9 cloves per square foot. Now, typically garlic is planted 4 to 6 inches apart, but what I have found is because I regularly amend the soil with compost, there's great soil fertility, and 9 cloves per square foot is enough space to give us very nice large bulbs at the end of the season. Now you'll notice the garlic clove has a flat end and a pointy end. The flat end is where the roots will be developing. So this flat end is planted down, pointy end up. We're going to plant it at 3-inch depths. And because I have Mel's mix in the garden beds, it's a nice fluffy soil mix. I'll provide a link to more information on that below. But I simply stick my finger down into the bed, drop the clove in. See how easy it is? It's a nice fluffy soil mix, very fertile. Doesn't take any time to plant the garlic. Once I get the bulbs dropped in, cover with 2 inches of soil. I then label so I know what I've planted and when. And then next I'll put 2 to 3 inches of mulch on top to protect the soil during the winter time and help keep the weeds out in the spring. You can alternatively use dried grass clippings, shredded leaves, or straw as a ground cover. See how easy it is to plant the garlic? No time at all. No further amendments are needed. That's all you need to do till spring. When the soil starts to warm in the spring, you'll start to see the cloves send up shoots, green shoots up through the soil. That's when you start taking care of the garlic. Up until then, it's basically on cruise control. We'll cover the care of garlic as well as the harvesting and curing in a future video, so watch for that one. I wanted to focus today, though, on planting the garlic. Fall's a great time to plant garlic. You can still plant in the spring, though. It's just that the bulbs won't be quite as large, so get planting. If you learned something from today's video, please hit the like button and subscribe so that you don't miss out on any future videos. Please feel free to share with your friends and fellow gardeners so they too can learn how to grow garlic. Thank you. Bye-bye now.